When looking at the Power Rangers universe at a glance, it can seem fairly simple. A team of brightly coloured superheroes that gets a new team every year or two. They take on a different supervillain and an army of monsters and usually come out on top with a happy ending. But it's not always that simple. While Power Rangers of course started out as a kids show, over the years it has grown and expanded and become something that has a deep and fascinating lore along with multiple universes and different stories being told. Do the Mighty Morphin TV Rangers live in the same world as the comics? Is that the same continuity? Do the RPM Rangers exist in the future, or is it a separate timeline altogether? I'm going to try my best to explain all of this and more as simply as I can in this video, so let's get into it. As confirmed in Dimensions in Danger, the vast majority of the Power Rangers TV series takes place within the same universe. Two exceptions are the RPM world, the post-apocalyptic setting of the Rangers RPM, and the Dino Charge world, a world whose history was altered to allow dinosaurs to survive, as seen in Power Rangers Dino Supercharge. The only constant of the separate universes, known as Ranger Worlds or Ranger Dimensions, is that they are all home to a team of Rangers. Then of course we have the Boom Studios comic universe, but that's a different thing altogether and we will get to it before the end of this video. But for now, let's look at each individual universe. There are technically more small universes than what I list here, but for today I'm just covering the main ones. So we have the main universe, or the Prime Universe, which is the world where the majority of the main TV shows take place. This universe includes the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zeo, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, Jungle Fury, Samurai, Super Samurai, Megaforce, Super Megaforce, Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel, and Beast Morphers. So that is basically every season except for RPM and Dino Charge. The RPM universe is its own universe that, though connected to the morphing grid, doesn't have a team of Power Rangers until Dr. K hacks into it and calls it the Biofield. After hacking into the Biofield, she creates the Ranger series operator powers and accidentally unleashes a sentient computer virus onto the world. He successfully takes over the world with the exception of the Dome City of Corinth, which is defended by the RPM Rangers until the computer virus is defeated and trapped within the morphing grid. The Dino Charge universe is the home of the Energems, 10 powerful gems that are bonded to 10 dinosaurs 65 million years ago before they were wiped out by Sledge's asteroids. The Energems would later bond with 10 various humans and aliens to become the Dino Charge Rangers to protect the Energems from various aliens that desire them to gain ultimate power. The Dino Charge universe was once similar to the Prime Universe until the Dino Charge Rangers used their powers to time travel to defeat Sledge in the past, which inevitably reverses all the events of the season, including the extinction of the dinosaurs. We also have the Hyperforce Universe. The Hyperforce dimension is an alternate take on Time Force, and is also an alternate continuation of Time Force. The Hyperforce Rangers travel this alternate dimension timeline, changing things around and having characters from this dimension have different stories. Jen Scotts, for one, is the teacher and mentor of this team, and Nadira is the fiancée and later wife of Joe, the Silver Time Force Ranger, and later Green Hyperforce Ranger. Side note, if you haven't followed the Hyperforce stuff, it's really different and it's great and you should definitely go and check it out. Of course, we then have the two main movie universes, that is the 1995 Mighty Morphin movie and the 2017 reboot movie. Now, while many people would assume that, having the same cast of characters, the 95 movie would take place within the Prime Universe, but with a few contradictions to the show taking place, it confirms itself as taking place within an alternate universe. An example of this would be the way the Rangers receive their ninja powers. It's completely different to how they receive them in the show. Then, the 2017 movie universe is similar to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but in a very minuscule way. Characters from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are in this universe, but are racially, personality, and sometimes aesthetically different. The suits, for one, are more armor-like, similar to the 95 movie universe, but unlike those suits, these suits are shown to manifest on the Power Rangers almost like a second skin. The Zords are also shown to be vastly different, with the Mastodon Dinozord, for example, having multiple legs, similar to that of a spider. Character-wise, Zordon and Rita Repulsa are shown to have vastly different stories. Rita Repulsa in particular is shown to be the original Green Ranger, and is more of a fighter than a sorceress. Finally then, let's talk about the Boom Studios comic book universe. This is, I think, where many fans become confused about the multiverse. The reimagined Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic series by Boom Studios takes place in a separate reality from the original series, to the point of establishing its own new multiverse. Lord Draken, for example, the counterpart of Tommy Oliver from the parallel universe world of the Coinless, serves as the instigator of the Shattered Grid event, which sees the Morphing Grid, in a bid to compensate for a critical alteration to the timeline, separate the histories of future Ranger teams into separate universes. It's all quite confusing, but just trust me, it's its own separate thing, and while it does sound like a story that could potentially just take place within the Prime universe, there are some key things that let us know that it is, in fact, its own separate thing. For one thing, it clearly takes place in a modern day setting, and not in the 90s. And secondly, in an annual story a few years back, Forever Black, we were shown the Boom Studios version of Zack meeting the 90s version of Zack, cementing the fact that this is definitely a separate universe. Okay guys, that's it for now. I've done my best to try and explain the differences as clearly and as simple as possible. I apologise if I missed anything, but as you can probably tell, it's a fairly complex subject, but one that I felt I should try and attempt to tackle on this channel. Let me know in the comments down below what other Power Ranger questions you would like answered through videos such as this one. Thank you all so much for watching, may the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.